Good morning. It's Monday again. Yay. Yay. It's Monday. And this is Astrology for Mystics. I'm your host, Jennifer Jennings. Thank you guys for hanging out with me this morning. Not going to take up your whole afternoon. I'm not going to talk forever, I promise. I just wanted to come on this morning and talk about, the missing kids, talk about the plane crash, because it does appear that now they are saying that there could be definitely electrical problems. It could have been the root of the India plane crash could be, communications, the electrical, which is what the reading shows, right? That's what the reading of the crash shows, is that it would have been something to do with the electrical. They had a plane from Hong Kong, same type of plane, the Air India 747 Boeing had, I think it was like from leaving from Hong Kong and going, I can't remember where it was going now, but anyway, they had to redirect it. Same thing. They were, being cautious. It didn't seem to have a lot of power, so they had to redirect. And I think that they landed like 3 hours later. So we're going to look at that with the astrology really quickly. And then I want to talk about Sebastian Rogers. He was in transit all day yesterday. I want to talk about what I see coming with him and the TBI. I'm still under the assumption from the reading that there was definitely, when Sebastian went missing, there was definitely something nefarious going on between 1 and 3 a.m. My personal opinion is that he was taken, and he was taken to another country. He could be in the United States. I could be wrong. I mean, there's a lot of numbers that I'm looking at, and I'm basing a lot of the places that he could be found based on the degrees, and even looking at the India chart. I mean, we can see that there's some connections there. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's look at the astrology. How are y'all doing today? Let me know how you are doing on this Monday, what you're up to today. Let me know what's going on with you. All right, let's see if this shows it. Here we go. All right, so I have the India crash. I have India, the country India on the left. And then I have India plane crash on the right. And this is what was showing up at 1:38 p.m. when the crash took place. So as you can see, the second house of communications here, this is where I'm really looking. I'm looking at the second house of communications because it's showing up that the values, the things that are hidden with the investigation, are coming into the second house, which Taurus rules this house. Taurus rules the house where the opposition, Scorpio, is coming into play. So this 403, well, that is exactly where the flame of life, that degree, the flame of life in the second house. And you can see that there is a 2643 in their second house. That's communications. It's electrical, it's dual. So for me, reading this, it would appear, just simply by looking at the degrees, it would appear to me that there was a dual engine failure based on the communications or the electrical. Because for me, it's, Gemini is about duality. It's the dual engines, and it's also about the communications. And that would be the rat. That would be the they lost all power. And so that's what it's showing to me. That's what it's been showing, and now it appears that there is a confirmation that that's what's been going on. I haven't been keeping up with it, but was there one person that lived? Yeah, girl, one person. Yep, sure did. Walked away. He was seated on 11A, I think it was, where the wing is, right there where the exit is, and he just bounced off. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So during this, yeah, it is wild. It's wild that he actually survived. And I noticed something too. I noticed something. Yeah, that plane was going to, I guess that's called Delhi. That's where it was going to. It was going to the capital of India from Hong Kong. And I did say that. We can look at that. But yeah, so I started noticing, like when I pulled up India, I started noticing this 2208. That's me and Seth. I started noticing this 110, and I keep saying that 110 is going to Virginia, but 110 is also going to India. So I'm learning a lot about Sebastian's chart. I'm going to flip flop. So just wait here. We'll come back to the plane crash, but I want to show you Sebastian. Sebastian is on the left, India is on the right, and Sebastian's second house of values going far is a 2706. And it has to do with two people, this duality, right? This dual, the communications and the lights. And there's things that are hidden at the home with Sebastian. Well, that 2706 is a third house communications with the moon of Cancer. So it's the moon of home, what took place at home, what took place at home that is being communicated, that 2706. 2706. The other thing that I notice about India's chart, this does go to me and Seth, is that SF and I, we share this 1450. This 1450, I always think, well, it's Mexico. Well, it's not just Mexico, it's also India. So I'm going to keep that in mind, that it's also India when I'm reading a chart. And I noticed that Sebastian makes his mark here. He makes his mark here in the ninth house of long travels at an 810. Melissa has an 810 in her chart as well. She sure does. The 810 is also found in India's chart. The 810 is right here. There's information, there's leads that come in with the second house of values and the ninth house and the eighth house. I'm sorry. And the eighth house with the governing bodies with the long travel. So this is interesting to me that we do match the country of India. So I'm going to be keeping that in mind, most definitely. The 2509 definitely goes to the state of Tennessee and the U.S. Marshals with communications. That 2509, let me just show you Tennessee, because this is important when it comes to finding the missing. We have to look at other places, even though he would have, we know he hasn't been to India. So who would know anyone in India, and how would he have been able to get there? That's the big question of the day, right? How would he get to another country? How would he get the clearance and be able to do that? I just don't know. But the state of Tennessee, here in the eighth house of death, rebirth, regeneration, what is hidden, the things that are hidden at home with Mars. Mars is fiery. It's going far as well, just like Sag. It shows a vehicle, shows a lot of action. And this is where the state of Tennessee connects to the U.S. Marshals, this 2509, which is where India makes its mark right here at a 2509. So this is worth considering. This is worth taking a harder look, if you will, at India's chart compared to other people maybe in Sebastian's family, compared to the DA, compared to different people that are involved in the case. So I will definitely be doing that later today. But I did just notice that there is definitely some connections here. And it doesn't mean that he is in India, but I will show you, if this will allow me to show you the map. This would be the line going to India. And I want to show you the missing. The missing is divine justice with mom and home. It's about Astria. It's a long travel with communications and a partnership, a relationship. and it's the values for the future. So that's the missing, the natal right here. Both degrees match my natal communications video. Let's look at the law enforcement. This is where the state of Tennessee receives leads. This is the 7-11. So the 7-11 for Tennessee is right here. And we're going into this 8th house of the things that are hidden at home with mother, with his mom, right? Things that are hidden with the mama. So we got the state of Tennessee. Let's look at the other law enforcement. Let's take off Tennessee. Let's look at Homeland. Oh, Homeland's all messed up. So is Craddock. Let's go ahead and fix that. Oh. Let's fix this. Don't know what time, of course, Eric Craddock was born, but this is the Chronos in Gemini. It's about the timing. There's a lot of timing here. There's the FBI. The FBI's North Node conjunct Venus. I'll look at that in just a second. Their North Node conjunct Venus. And this is the TBI. This is their sun. Their sun is going that way, and the sun is faded. Actually, it is. There's a major challenge here with Vulcanus and Cancer. So we'll look at that. The DA. There's the U.S. Marshals. All right, let's look at Kathy. Her Hygeia. It's all about the purity of health and long travels. Sure is. Let's go. Let's see. And then Katie's Jupiter in Cancer. Her Jupiter in Cancer is a 4 in Cancer. I don't know what time she was born, but I would say it's around, her Jupiter would be right here. Let's see. Let me pull up the TBI. So we know that Tennessee and the U.S. Marshals are connecting there. We know that me and Seth are connected to, Sebastian's connected to India. I always find it interesting when I see this, any type of connection, to just kind of look and see, because you just never know, you just never know. Never know. So here's the TBI. Let me go back. What was it for TBI? It was their Vulcanus in Cancer at an 8. Vulcanus in Cancer, the 848. So the 848, so their Vulcanus in Cancer is here. Again, in the 2nd house of values. Interesting. They have an 849 here in the 5th house of kids. So I will be looking at this for sure. I will definitely be looking at this chart a little bit deeper, going a little bit deeper. I know that other people definitely have some of these connections. It's just a matter of narrowing it down to see if this is really a place that we would want to see if Sebastian is truly at. But the 2208, I connect to the 2208 with my Uranus in the 5th house of kids. In Libra. Seth has his 2208 Uranus in the 5th house of kids too. I'll bet it is in Scorpio. But nevertheless, we are connecting to our children. And I'm connecting with the astrology with India. So very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And I will be looking again, like I said, I'm going to be looking instead of taking you guys through these different charts and comparing. I'm just going to be looking, So this is what I'm seeing for today. Yesterday, Chronos at a 1531. Let's look at, what was that? What was that? Hold up. 2504. Let's look at this. It looks like there's definitely things going on in Canada right now. Nova Scotia. Lots and lots of energy with the United States. There's a shakeup. There could be an abrupt shakeup with the seventh house of relationships and partnerships. The United States has their Uranus in Gemini at an 8:55. So there's a lot of energy, a lot of warring that's taken place here. And I mean, there has been, right? But look, we've got an 8:55 here as well. That is with Cupid. So we're gonna have to pull the United States chart here in just a second. Hold on. We got to see what's happening. Where's Mars? Let's look at Mars. Mars just went over California. Imagine that, right? Imagine that. But yeah, Kronos was at Sebastian's 1531, his Cupid and Sag all day yesterday on Father's Day. It's about the courts. It's no doubt about the courts. And what I see coming is a warring with Sebastian and the TBI. And I would say that warring that's coming is more than likely going to be about a protest. More than likely will be about a protest, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, we just never know. Just never know. Yeah, let me look at the United States, and then I think I need to pull California. There's crazy shit going down all over the world, but let's look at the United States. There's about to be there is right now an abrupt shakeup going down in the United States with warring and the desires for responsibility and accountability are full throttle right now. Let's look at the transits. Yeah, girl. I mean, remember June and July. Remember June and July were going to be big, big months. Life-changing. I mean, it really is. It's life-changing. So let's check this out. So let's check this out. So the United States has their shakeup. This is with Uranus at an 8:55. And this is exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing that the desires to control we the people and the communications is taking place. And it's coming with a lot of energy. Ceres is directed energy weaponry, directed energy, just directed energy. You could lay hands on somebody. That's directed energy, right? The 121 was Saturn. Let's see, 121. We can definitely see that Saturn is on its way to the physician. It's not going to be over the physician, Apollo. It's not going to be opposing it or anything like that, because Saturn is actually right here in the fourth house of home. So the United States is having a lot of warring at home, and they have limits and obstacles. They have a responsibility, and there is a lot of warring, right? Mars at a 2938 is going to be gracing this 2948. I'll bet it's not going to be in the same sign. Mars in Leo is actually right here. Mars in Leo is actually right here in the ninth house, and it's about immigration. It's about the courts. It's about religion, beliefs. This is the philosophy house. So we are seeing a lot that's taken place, 133. So Jupiter is here. Jupiter is making its way to the Venus. Jupiter will make its way to Jupiter. And when Jupiter makes a Jupiter return for the United States, let me just tell you, this is going to have to do with Trump. with Elon, with China. No doubt about it. Elon and China right here. And it's about things that go far. Jupiter is about flight. It's about missiles, things that we learn. And this Jupiter return, well, we're going to see how that works itself out. La. The sun right now is at a 2547. The sun is shining with communications in the sixth house of health. But all the weight, all the devouring energy, all the communications with the media is right here with these 7,000 relationships and partnerships with the United States. The moon is at a 29 critical degree with we the people. And the moon has just crossed over the United States moon at a 2710. And now it's at a critical degree with we the people and the protesting. I want to look at California real quick because I'm seeing a little something here. I'm not sure if they have the 1323. I know that Alaska does. Let's see. Cuba does. Let's see. Let me pull up California. A lot of talk about sleeper cells. Yeah. Hey, Hope folks. Hey, honey. Good morning. Almost afternoon, huh? Well, it is afternoon now. California. Let's check this out. We do have a lot of incoming magnetic energy from the sun, so we shouldn't be surprised if there's a big earthquake. Should not be surprised. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Here it is. So the 1323, there is a divine justice right now with the 1323. Let me pull up the transits so I can show you California and the transits. Oh, bless your heart, Hope. Bless your heart, girl. So what's going to happen is this 855 that is with the United States right now, that 855 is going to come to California's midheaven, even though it's in Aries. You know, Ceres is really right here in the fifth house of kids and how they create, but it is going to make contact. That 858, when Ceres comes in just a few hours, lots of warring that's happening today. Even more today. And I just wonder, what are they doing? The Chronos here in the fifth house of kids, the way that they create the sea. There's this timing here and there's this justice. It could have something to do with the courts and a plane. Has there been a plane that recently crashed off the coast of California? Because look at that. There is a shakeup with a relationship from the past. Something's up here. Something is up here. Interesting. Was there a plane crash off the coast? Let's look. Let's look and see what's going on in California besides the obvious. We set a big chunk of California wilderness on fire. You're welcome. Okay. COVID, razor blade throat rises as news there spreads in California. Well. Okay, so that could be. Don't. let's see, Saturday, California airports are thriving. Moves to permanently ban hemp. I don't know if that would be that. California plane crash. I don't know if there was one. This was 3 weeks ago. Multiple deaths after California. 2 people killed. Small crane. That's a month ago. 1 week. 6 dead. Okay, this could be it. This could be it. The Cessna 414 went down about 3 miles west of Point Loma around 12:45 on Sunday. That was a week ago. So there could be something that's going to come out about that. 3 miles west of Point Loma in San Diego, about 12:45 on Sunday. 6 people, including the pilot's wife and a father and his 3 sons. Plane was headed for Phoenix. Crashed soon after takeoff. You know, there's a lot of that happening right now. Crashed as soon as it took off. That seems to be like the theme, you know. That seems to be the theme here. 3 miles west of Point Loma in San Diego. So San Diego, let me see. So 12:45 p.m. on Sunday. 12:45. What day was that? 12:45 p.m. Oh. Let's see. What was that? So yesterday was the 15th. So that would have been the 8th, right? At 12:45. Is that what it said? 12:45 p.m. San Diego. Let's see if that was right. Okay, so June 8th. Let's see. June 8th, California plane crash. 12:45 p.m. Let's see if that's right. June 8th. A twin engine. It's investigating. Initially reported the crash around 12:30, while others specified 12:45. The NTSB received the report at 12:45. So we're just going to go with 12:45. Right after takeoff. Like, what is going on? And I do have now I'm questioning the directed energy. Let's see, California, that's the crash here. Let's see. It's definitely intense, right? So we're looking at California's chart here, and the wisdom in the 3rd house of communications. Again, we would see electrical because it's in the 3rd house of communications with the wisdom, and the intensity with the dual engine, and the electrical would be the intensity. It's possible. It's definitely possible that that would be what's happening here. And it would appear because the 2027 for the United States, it's a relationship. Would that be at what is happening here? Interesting. And the day before, there was a transformation that was coming in the future for California and their moon. And it just makes me wonder if this is like the same. Look at that. Limits and obstacles with relationships at a 0057. So Saturn had just left. Saturn had just left the 53. But that's not, I'm not really looking at that. No. 651. Trump has a 641. And then we see Jupiter. Look at that. Jupiter and Mercury are going to be conjunct. Wondered how that was going to express itself. And so the 2945 here in the 10th house, this is the public image. The sun is shining in Gemini. We have communications at a 2943. We have Jupiter at a 2945. And Jupiter and the media is going to Jupiter is going to expand the media and the communications about the communications, the electrical, the dual engine, and the long travel with California and the 11th house of groups, how they bring in money. It could be. It definitely could be that we're going to be talking about that today. I mean, we already are, but you know what I mean? Like we're going to be talking about, possibly going to be talking about, unless there is something else takes place today, because Mars is going to come and expand that 2945. We're going to have to wait and see how this works itself out today. Because like I said, we're either going to see there is a relationship here that's going to be shaken up with that 2858 here. And Nashville time, I can already see it, right? And then Saturn is making its way to the values. Interesting. Let's look at Newsom. Because I'm not sure. Let's look at the transits with him. So Gavin's over here. Transits over here. And I mean, the Uranus is already shaken him up with past investigations. That could be about the hemp. Saturn. So the communications with him in the next couple of hours is going to be limited. There's a lot of worrying going on with anything that he is saying today. Anything that he's saying. No surprise there. Anything that dude is saying, he is going to be limited with what he is communicating to California. No doubt about that, but there's something going on. All right, I'm going to get off that. I'm going to get off that. Because I don't know. Let's look. Hold on. Recent earthquakes. Virgin Islands. Virgin Islands is quaking. There is a swarm happening here, it looks like. I saw that Yemen. So it looks like the Virgin Islands, let's pull them up. Maybe they've got some type of degrees that California has that I'm seeing and I just don't realize it. Let's check it out. Because they are for sure swarming with quakes. Just quaking it up. Okay, so let's look. Well, okay. Virgin Islands. That 504 with the Virgin Islands. How is that? Because I've been looking for that 504, trying to figure out who would have it, because the 504 is when that plane crashed in India, there's a 504. It's rising in Libra, descending in Aries, and there's a 504 with the midheaven and the IC, and you see that the moon is at a third, in the third house of communications where Gemini rules. But that 313 goes to the United States. So, okay, I'm just getting my bearings here because we gotta, it's rising. Interesting. We noticed that the moon with India is a 2706. Remember I said that that matches Sebastian. So does the Virgin Islands. Okay. So does the Virgin Islands. The physician Apollo out of 547 is coming to their 546 where they are going to learn something. They're going to teach, and it's about groups. And Saturn is definitely coming to the burden with relationships here. And there is a transformation of health with this 339. And that is their second house of values. And their eighth house of death, rebirth, regeneration at a 339. A lot of warring here. Kathy Bowersox, no matter what time she's born, I've talked about this, no matter what time she's born, she's got that 2944. That would be the reason why, of course, one of my 50 hotspots on Sebastian's map would have to do with the Virgin Islands because, well, there's a lot of matches here. Interesting. Yeah. So they may get an even bigger one. I always say that Sebastian's moon goes to Canada, that 428 with Canada, but that 428 is also here in the third house of communications, outer wheel with Scorpio, and the outer wheel, the ninth house of long travels in Taurus. That would definitely be a paying someone money under the table with Kathy. If Sebastian were to be found in Virgin Islands, because again, I mean, I'm looking for him in all kinds of places, all kind of places. Mars at a 2938 is coming to their Chronos here in the 8th house of death, rebirth, regeneration. We're going to have to see how this plays out with Virgin Islands today because their physician is being called in tomorrow. And it may not be tomorrow. Maybe today. Let's see. Nope. That's going to be the 19th. Their physician will be called in on the 19th. Wow. Okay. So their physician will be called in on the 19th, and they are going to be in transit. So I would give it by the 19th. Let's see if they have a bigger quake by the 19th, by June 19th. Let's see. There's Alaska. I saw Alaska. There was a divine justice, but that didn't amount to anything. India just had an earthquake. And the reason why I'm looking at them too is because the space weather is showing June 18th is when we should get a graze to our magnetic field. And the solar wind is not, we're not receiving any kind of blow right now. It's pretty quiet with our magnetic field right now. What I saw coming with, this is going to be India, the 2904 that Sebastian has in his chart. No, it doesn't match India. Hold on. Let me go back. 2440. That's Sebastian. There's going to be a shakeup. And it's going to transform him because I want to watch this day. Because this will be with we the people. Let's go ahead and get that moon to the 2117 with the TDI. June 18th. So June 18th, I want to, this will be, damn, this is going to be 3 o'clock in the morning. This will be 3 o'clock in the morning. And I can see that there is going to be a shakeup, the transformation of long travels with Sebastian. And whoever else has that 2904. $29.07. So the next day it'll be Terry Bowersox. I've looked at this already. I mean, it's possible. Definitely possible. So I want to make a note here that this is what's going to happen is it's going to take us June 26th. Let me go ahead and write this down because June 26th, this is, um, there are, yeah. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. Let me get to the hour right here. Let me get to right here. So the moon is going to be reflecting home. The weight. Let's see. 29. Damn. There's definitely going to be major issues going down with the FBI on June 26th. Major issues going on with a devouring energy with the way that Sebastian shines with long travels. And there's that 2208. With India. There's the 313. That was the moon when the crash took place. That was showing the United States. There's going to be a major transformation with groups. The warring that has taken place at home, there's going to be a transformation. $2208. So that would be, I can see that there's a shakeup in Oklahoma. Let me go back to India. And it's about the past. So the lunar nodes are going to hit me and Seth and India at the same time. And other places have this. I mean, I don't want to say that this would be the only, but there's a weight of the warring from the past. And this weight at a 2639 is where there is going to be a pain that will be shared about the weight of home with India, the things of the past. Something is just not sitting right here with me. Nope. Interesting. The sun is going to be shining here. So the devouring energy will come here in the fourth house of home. Lots of attention, children education, things of that nature. This 1541, and then it comes to Sebastian at a 1542. So the 25th and the 26th, those are the fated days with India that's coming up. Let me look at that Hong Kong and China. There it is. This flight was just grounded. Same type of plane. And I wonder if it's going to show us anything with that. With India. And look at that. The 2208 is there. Yeah. Look at that. It's with the values here. Yep. Sure enough. So, I mean, that's definitely showing us that the values balance with these relationships, the things that are hidden with death, that is definitely hitting India, the 2208. So I would imagine that this is going to have something to do with the planes. No doubt about it. If we don't see another one. Interesting. So it left China. It was going to India. Hmm. Let's look at China. I'm about to show you guys. Let me look at this real quick. But I'm about to show you guys the warring that's going to be taking place with Sebastian and the TBI. So it looks like $548, $458, $450. There it is, the intensity. Yeah, so here in the 9th house of the long travels. Yep. These long travels, there's a breakup with the communications and the electrical at a 450, and that's where China has an intense experience with relationships, and that it's public. There's the divine justice with the 2026. The 2026 third house of communications. Divine justice. Interesting. That crash was what? The California plane crash. In the 4th house of home, they meet their mark at a 121, which is exactly where Saturn is. So whatever is taken, this is with China. That's what we're seeing right now with the United States and China. China's aircraft carrier sends message in the Pacific for the first time. And bigger and more powerful ships are coming. My God, no. Jesus, man. What's going on with the aircraft? Chinese president reached Kazakhstan on Monday. Kazakhstan. Let's see if I even have them. In Central Asia. Let's see what this one says. Oh my goodness. Let's see. $1991. $1991. Oh shit. That was 3 hours ago. This is what's shaking things up. China deepens strategic partnership. This is what can be excellent partners in energy. Interesting. I think that this is what I'm looking at here. Besides the plane and things like that. Europe, Asia. $1991. Formation, it looks like reconstituted as the Republic, December 10th, 1991. This looks like December 25th, 1991. Recognized December 26th, 1991. That's at midnight. Yeah, so there's really no chart for that. So I'm not going to pull that. I digress with that. Yeah. I want to show you though the what I see coming with Sebastian's case and the TBI, because I want us to make sure that we jot this down, because this is going to be with. Okay, so hold on. Let me go ahead and pull TBI up with India one more time. One more time. I want to see if there's this connection with the TBI. No. I just wanted to make sure 2642, 2643. So it would come here first and then come there. So we would look at the 2643. But this is the 2046. This is where there is going to be some warring with the TBI and their leadership, with the Sixth House of Health and the other agencies. And I mean, it just is. I can't make it. I can't make it up. So I want to look at that 2046 with the lunar nodes. It's going to be a while, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at it, and we're going to write it down because I want to see what happens. I want us to be mindful. There's the 2208. That's what we've already talked about. I've saved that one because Jupiter is going to expand communications. This is when Jupiter is going to expand communications with the 350, and that 350 is Sebastian, his connections with the TBI. This is the most important day. I'm just going to save it one more time, make sure I got it, because I'm going to be looking at it. It's a big day for the state of Tennessee and India, our connection with India. So let's go to the 2046, 21. I want to go to the 2046. It's going to be a while, it looks like, huh? That's okay. It's going to give me enough time to check it out. And what's going to happen first is the TBI is going to be fated with a warring that took place in the past at a 2047. And so this begins a fate with the TBI on July 21st. Look at that, 2208. There's a 350. Let me go ahead and then there's the sun. It's shining at a 2929. Interesting. We're just going to see it. We're going to see these degrees just keep showing itself. They're just going to keep showing itself. The 2706 that Sebastian has, right? That is going to the Virgin Islands and India, that 2706, it has just left the Chiron. It's not a 26. So I'm doing July 21st. Let me write this down. And this is going to begin the fate with the TBI and Sebastian. I'll be studying this when I get off live here. That 849 that the TBI has, that there's going to be a justice with the airlines, it looks like. India, because they have an 849, then the TBI has an 848, and that is going to be emotional. Yeah, I've seen this. Okay, we've seen this. We've talked about this, because the next day, that is when July 22nd is when the agencies like the FBI, the TBI, U.S. Marshals, all of that. So let's go back. 2047. I want to get Mars. Mars is going to conjunct the South Node. It's where the TBI has been before in the past. It's going to be interesting to see because the lunar nodes are now at 2046. Now they're at 2045, and Mars is trailing. So Mars is going to bring it on home. Let's go back. This is when the warring will start with Sebastian the TBI. It's going to leave the TBI's past, and it's going to come with their leadership. And this is going to be on the 22nd, and it's going to start in the middle of the night. It looks like, yep, at 3:19 a.m. So on the 22nd, 3:19 a.m., that's when we're really going to see it. So the 21st and the 22nd are going to be days that I'm definitely going to be observing with Sebastian and the TBI, because the pain with his values is going to go over. Then there's going to be a letting go. This is coming to the TBI, the FBI, and some of the people that are involved in Sebastian's case. been here before. And it's going to be with two people, the communications and the lights. Interesting. And there's definitely going to be a wake-up call. There's going to be things that are going against Chris Proudfoot on this day. There's that 848 that's showing back up. That's with the TBI, right? Yep. It is definitely with the TBI. There is a justice here. Is that Virginia? The 1450 that is coming to... We're going to reflect the two people and the issues with Sebastian at a 2751. Things from the past with the communications with two people. The electrical, the lights, right there. 3:51 a.m. Yeah. He is showing up with he is rising out of 432. That is, there's a timing here with Sebastian. That timing is coming into fruition. And again, this is going to be at 3:51 a.m. July 26th. There's the 1846 that he has. 2948, 26. Let's see. There's definitely something that's ending and beginning here. Early July 22nd. And I just wonder, I really do wonder if this has anything at all to do with well, the warring that's going to come from protesters that are wanting answers for Seth Rogers, because he has been in the dark. There's a lot of questions that could be answered that has not been answered, a lot of things that are questionable with the evening when he went missing. Did he really make it home? Why can't Seth hear him going home, pulling into the driveway or getting out of the car before she pulls into the garage? I mean, there's just so many questions that need to be answered we've been months have gone by, a year and a half. No Sebastian. What are parents to do? When you have a missing kid, what are you supposed to do? Just keep waiting and trusting and hoping? No, you don't have to do that. You can definitely do something different to get different results, right? And that's kind of where I feel like we're at. We got to do something different to get different results to find Sebastian and bring him home. There's something that hasn't been done. There's something that needs to be done. And not only that, the woulda, shoulda, coulda, but didn't. You still can. The TBI could still try to do something different. Like hand it to a agency that can do something. You got one detective on Sebastian's case. That's not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. I know you're worn out. I know you're worn out, buddy. I know you're worn out. I just can't imagine, I try to imagine, but I can't. Unless you're really going through that, you just don't know. And I think that that's what we're going to see. We're going to see some warring, because Sebastian and the TBI oppose one another. Sebastian opposes the TBI with their leadership. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I can't make it up. They do have an opposition. They got a opposition. I mean, I've got friends and I know their chart. One of mine she's a dear friend. but she and I oppose one another. And when she asked me, should I build this home? No, you shouldn't. It's, that is the divine justice that is bringing in an opposition with me and her. And I knew it when I told her that. I even told her that. Did she still want to build? Yes. Is she 5 years into it and she is fighting now 3 builders in a lawsuit? Yes. It's just, I can see these oppositions very clearly. And if we look at this opposition with Sebastian and the TBI, we know that there is a warring here. There is a warring with school. There is a warring with education. There is a warring here with Sebastian in the 5th house of kids, the way that he creates. The 2046 that he has in Aries is right here. It's right before you get to the Hygeia, the purity of health with world health in the past. Well, so let me just show you this. Hygeia opposes the TBI, their leadership, their intensity, the death, rebirth, regeneration, other people's money, things that are hidden within the governing bodies. Because we are looking at Libra. Libra is the government. It's public servant. Their leadership opposes world health. And so when I say the TBI does really good with offenders and past offenders and, looking at past offenders, they do great with that. But when it comes to the investigations of something a little bit more complex, they don't. That 2046 in Libra opposes Sebastian. Their leadership is up here in the 11th house of groups with the law, with the government. His future hopes and wishes and dreams here. And the physician that brings enlightenment to the TBI brings when that enlightenment comes from Sebastian, it graces the Vesta. It reignites a flame of life. So if the TBI were to think, whatever they are thinking, whatever their leadership is currently, it's in an opposition with Sebastian. If they think that Sebastian is deceased and they're not hearing anything else and they think it's an offender or something like that or blah, 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 it's going against Sebastian. And I can clearly see that. So that's why I say that they do great. But if we are looking into a more in-depth type of investigation, that's where the FBI comes in. That's where the FBI, other agencies, agencies that have a higher stat than the TBI because they're just not doing well with missing kids cases. We can see that. It's evident. We see this all the time. Got to do something different to get different results. And that's just the name of the game. You got to do something different. And they have to do something different. How are they going to do something different? Maybe they will do something different if we the people stand up and say, hey, we want answers for Seth. We want answers for Sebastian. We want answers for his family, for those that love him, that care about him. Sebastian has a lot of people that we don't even know about that have been in his life for many years. And it's unfortunate that they can't come out into the public and say, hey, we love you, Sebastian, blah, blah, blah. Because all the public is going to do is tear him a new asshole, talk shit. It's so sad that we have so many grown adults on the YouTube streets, on social media, that is just completely distracting from the main goal, which is to find Sebastian. So this is what we're going to see. This is what we're going to see come July, the end of July, and we're gearing up to it. This isn't just going to automatically just appear. Like we're leading up to this. There's going to be a lead up. And it's with the values with Sebastian, going far, religion, foreign travel, that is where he's wounded with the TBI. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what kind of money, because the things that I could see when Sebastian goes missing and all of the energy that was showing up with the TBI does make you wonder. The and speaking of Summer, Summer is highly connected to the TBI as well. And sometimes it just makes me wonder what is really going on here. What is going on here? Looking at Summer, let me get her. And just show you the TBI next to her. The TBI is going to be on the left. Summer is on the right. And if we look at the TBI and Summer, we know that there's a past relationship here. There's a past relationship. That 121 that we were just seeing with Saturn. Let me go back. Where's it at? Where's it at? That 121 that we were just seeing. Is that with China? Yes. So the 121 that she has in her chart is right here with the communications. It's how they make their mark in the 4th house of home. And there's this physician here, and it's about other people's money and the government. We have a 110. Again, I've said over and over that is Virginia, but I'm going to also say that 110 is not just Virginia, but it's also India. We can't say that she has been sold. We just don't know. All we're doing is speculating. This is just my opinion. I'm just going over some of the degrees. I don't know for sure, but I can promise you when I do know for sure, I'm going to scream from the rooftops, and I'm not going to stop when I do know for sure if that ever comes about. I do know that Summer and her dad are fated with the state of Tennessee. Summer and her father share the same lunar nodes as the state of Tennessee with their Jupiter as well, that is conjunct, that it's expansion, and it is another country. It's religion, too. Is that fate? Is that fate a true reality? I don't know. We do know that a lot of people speculate that. So, of course, it's going to be a part of her natal chart because that is it's pure speculation. The desires, though, for Summer, if this would be her true birth time, that is going to be coming into transit soon. So I'll be able to know if this is her true birth time or not. But until then, I'm speculating. But the lunar nodes are not going to. They're definitely they're definitely showing a fate with the state of Tennessee and her father. And we know the dirty things. We've heard the dirty things that her dad was capable of doing. Oh, we have. We've heard that time and time again. And it's a sad state of affairs when your own father, and there's the father right here with her values, or an older male with the values. And this was in transit when she went missing. It sure was. Sure was. There is something about a foreign travel, religion, things that are going quickly. Like Even the possibility that he could have ran her over. I don't know if they ever checked his truck. Um, he could have just, been out of his mind and hit her for all I know. I don't know. But the values, this is her mom and her dad right here. They could have definitely owed money. They could have definitely owed money and they took her instead. Whatever was happening in Summer's life the week before she went missing, there was a lot of things going on in her home that to me are very suspicious. I've talked about it till I'm blue in the face. I mean, you guys may not have seen it or heard it, heard me talking about it, but I did. Just like with Sebastian, I played the tape through the month before, trying to figure out what could I see, what is, what was really going on. The one person that I saw yesterday, let me just pull up yesterday's transit because the one person, let me get back. This was yesterday. Let me go back to yesterday. I was in the garden yesterday. Well, it wasn't in the garden. I was, but I was helping to build or paint the chicken coop. Okay, so let's look at yesterday because this is when Father's Day. This is when Sebastian was in transit all day with the Cupid, with his desires. There is also things that we are learning about Summer. The 2904 with Sebastian, that is, Mars was given a lot of energy around noon yesterday. There was a lot of energy with a transformation of long travels with Sebastian, with his desires to go far. The one person that I saw in transit all day yesterday with Summer's missing event was Brandon Lawson. Brandon. Yep. And yesterday, 118, 117, 119. Let's go back in hours because I want to show you something. Jupiter, this is around 11 o'clock in the morning, yesterday morning. Jupiter was in a good standing with Mars, but it was square with Saturn. So we look at the 118 and the 118. This degree is definitely going to matter when it comes to both of their cases, in my opinion. It's going to matter. There's a letting go. So this squares up at a 118, and then there is a letting go at 118 the next day. And it's just, Sedna is going to come back around and she is going to enforce a letting go with communications, or, things with communications, even the media. So what I found interesting with this 1353 with Brandon Lawson is his dad is a police officer, and his dad and the law and the home, the loyalty is squaring up. I don't know if I'm making myself clear with that, but there was a square. Yesterday was a big day on Sunday with the law, with the government, and all authority. And that 118 was in transit. So I'm going to be doing a deep dive today and looking at Brandon and Sheriff Ronnie Lawson's chart. I've been going back and forth with Brandon, with the father of Summer, with Don Sherfy Jr., and I'm just not there yet. During this square, though, what I thought was interesting is that, of course, Sebastian is in transit. There's a devouring energy. There's this timing with his Cupid and the long travels, the higher learning. And during this period of time at 11 o'clock, The third house of communications, there's a relationship. There's a relationship that brings a divine justice that gives him a conscious raising experience. In the third house of communications, I see that the state of Tennessee, the state of Tennessee was in transit all weekend. We did have a terrible tragedy that took place during this intense energy. And let me just show you what took place, because if you're not from Tennessee, you may not know or heard. Mother of 5 children, 4-year-old passed away after a woman and her children were shot during a domestic dispute in Nashville. This was yesterday. And all the while, let me just show you, because I was very interested to see what was going to happen in Tennessee with this. I was really hopeful that it could have something to do with Sebastian. I was so hopeful, but once again, it doesn't. Even though he was in transit. Yesterday, the square. With family, loyalty, the law enforcement, the courts, the higher learning, the long travels, things of that nature. This square. And then we have Vesta she's not as intense. Yesterday morning, she's not as intense, but she is still intense with a black station. First, she was at a red station, and then she went to the black station, and then now she's in retrograde. Or is she moving forward? I can't remember. The 521 is where we have the emotional explosion. It's fiery. That's the warring. That's the pew-pew. And the death, the acceptance, could have to do with the rugs or some type of, there was definitely some shit going down. We have the state of Tennessee. There is a relationship at a 1251, and Mercury is coming to that 1251 right here. Let me show you Tennessee one more time. And this is the relationship that showed up. And the media, there's the media, the 1251, the communications with Tennessee here with a conscious raising experience. It's about their government. It's about the laws. It's about justice. And there's something beginning and ending here with their public image. And that's where Mercury was at a 1251. So I'm just showing you that there was a lot that was taking place with Tennessee. Not just with Sebastian, with this poor mother that lost one of her children. Actually, I think one of her children is deceased. 2 are in critical care. And they're all it was just such a sad tragedy, such a sad tragedy. The 2618, Chiron was already coming and opposing the law. It was already opposing the law, meaning the law didn't save them. The past issues with him didn't save him. So the 20s, or didn't save them. The 2615, well, that's where Chiron went over. There was a lot of information coming into Sebastian in the 7th house of relationships during this time period. So you can see why I was very hopeful that this could have led to us finding Sebastian, but it didn't. It was Father's Day, and we were all talking about Sebastian. I get it. There was a lot of transformation that was taking place, transforming him, but he was in the transits big time, and so was Virginia. This 340 is Virginia's midheaven. We can see the things that would have happened in Virginia yesterday. But it didn't bring Sebastian home. So It is what it is, you know? It is what it is. Yeah. I don't trust either, Hope. I really don't. I just don't. I'm having a really hard time because I see so many opportunities that are just missed. So many opportunities that are missed, but at the same time, I have to keep reminding myself to have faith and fate, just to have faith and fate. But we also have to do our part. We have to do our part. We have to continuously advocate for these missing kids. And, I heard somebody say yesterday, well, um, oh, here's something else happened. We learned about the intensity. That would have been around 6 o'clock in the morning. There would have been an intensity here. So I'm not sure what time that took place with that unaliving. It doesn't say. And I don't want to go in there. I don't want to look at that right now. I mean, we can already see it, we can already see it. So there's really no sense in it. This enlightenment with the state of Tennessee, I connect to the state of Tennessee here with their relationships and communications. My divine justice connects to their second house of values. And so that's where I'm connecting to the state of Tennessee, is with the physician, with the enlightenment, and with their pain, the pain that they share with their resources, with other government agencies. That 2211, my friend that I told her not to build, she has the 2211. So our divine justice was opposing one another. The divine justice does ask you to change your mind at times when it's appropriate. So here we are in the state of Tennessee. There's a third house of communications with their desires, with the health care that is coming in about a week, looks like. We'll see that for sure. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, even though all of this was taking place with Sebastian yesterday, it did not produce Sebastian. And it didn't. But there are missed opportunities, fate or not. The 2243, we can even play the tape through and we can look at Sebastian's 22 degrees. Sebastian has a 2214, and then his Mercury is a 2212. So we should hear information, receive information at a 2214 and a 2212 with the lunar nodes. Let me show you that. 2214, 2212. Right there. June 24th. Let me write that down. June 24th. And look at that. There's the 2706 again. That's his values, right? That's his values. And guess what? I see me. There's going to be an expansion with communications here. There's that 2642. Let's look at his chart with this. Hold up. This is the 24th. This is Tuesday, June 24th at 10:52 a.m. Let's look at Sebastian. All we do is play the numbers game. This is really not that hard. People make it more difficult than it really is. Well, I don't understand astrology. Do you not know how we played the numbers game when we were in kindergarten. We were doing numbers, matching, the matching game. $22.44. Hold on. Let me get back to Sebastian. Why I pulled Tennessee. I'm not ready for that one yet. I want to see Sebastian first. So June 24th. Amen, Angel. What you said, sister. Just got to keep hope alive. Just got to keep hope that he is coming home, and he is coming home soon, sooner than later. All right, so we see that there's a lot of intensity here. Jesus. Okay, so here's the lender notes with him. So there's a lead. This is information that is coming in at a 2214. The 2214 Morley, there's information that's coming in from Sebastian or about Sebastian. This is the polar descendant, polar ascendant. This is about relationships and communications, and this is about long travels. Even the radio waves, the radio waves is also, let's see. This is going to be a very intense for the United States. This 1055 is definitely the state of Tennessee. The 123, Tennessee. So we're seeing Tennessee. $38,208. So there has already been. So on the 23rd, there is going to be a lot of worrying about the things that are hidden at home. Oh, yeah. The 2642, that is the connection that Sebastian has with the TBI. So look, we're going to see something on the 24th. Mark it on your calendars. Let's pay attention. What can we tell? What can we see? What can we understand? Is there anything we can understand that we are going to, let's see. Communications with Tennessee. Hey, Mama Rissa. Hey, honey. I've been enjoying your lives, sweetheart. I really have. I love how you guys are focusing on Sebastian and keeping it about him and talking about the things that you have questions about. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I appreciate it. I know for me, I definitely appreciate, it's a breath of fresh air not to hear a bunch of just back and forth drama, and really just putting some of the things to rest that people are saying that are just off the wall. So now I want to see, okay, I definitely understand here. I know you do, Mama Rissa. We are the mama bears. We are the mama bears. And some of us, mama bears, are more mature than others. We just are. And that's okay. Maybe the others will jump on the train of, logic and maturity here. So what's going to happen first is Hygeia is going to come at the 1050 first. Hygeia is going to come to Hygeia. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So Tuesday morning we should learn some things. Hygeia is going to come and sit right here at a 1050. That'll be about 5 a.m., 5 or 6 a.m. Hygeia is about world health to me. It's about world health and the purity of health issues and the health issues with the mental, with relationships, with two or more people. And it's the link between the mind and the body here. We can see that the moon has already come over the polar ascendant, polar descendant. So I want to show you Tennessee. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so see, I get all excited, and then, it's something else that's happening with Tennessee that has nothing to do with Sebastian, but I am excited to say that I do see something with the TBI and the communications with the values of home and mom. Did he make it home? Show Seth. God dang, man. The 123, This is Mexico. There's going to be a letting go with Mexico, and there's going to be an opposition with the state of Tennessee with communications. This is definitely going to be a good day to observe. Let me look at Tennessee. Let me look at Tennessee here. With the 24th. Okay, so I want to show you this 1908. It's Venus. Venus is a 1908, and she is going to be fated with Chris Proudfoot, with the TBI, the FBI. And there's already been a shakeup. The morning of the 24th, there's a shakeup with Sebastian, the values of the older male or a business, the government, the agencies, the 2923. So now we got shakeup. 347. Is that Nina? Is that Nina? I'll have to look at Nina's chart later. I think that it could be. So this 545, what I was talking about earlier, the physician has just left the 545. Now there's a flame of life with the 545, and this is the desires with the communications with the group and the transformation with the communications about world health with the state of Tennessee. And that 123 is going to be opposed. Sedna at a 123 in Gemini is over here with relationships. Relationships and the communications are opposing the things of the past with the state of Tennessee. With the courts. The DA maybe. And the 1908, well, that's going to give the Venus in Taurus is going to give Tennessee a wake-up call, a shake-up. Interesting. So we're going to watch this day. Definitely going to be observing what's going on with Sebastian's case, with the chatter, and any kind of clues that we can get about where this boy can be found. That's what I'm going to be observing. No doubt about it. 2636, 2539, where's Sebastian? 2642. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. So we see that God's will is being done. There is with the communications and the public image of Tennessee with the TBI. But then, hold up, rising up. But then, all we're doing is playing the numbers game. It's really, y'all, we're just playing the numbers game, babe. That's all we're going to be doing. So this 2636, if we look, that's where we're going. We're looking for this connection with TBI. And we're going to be wounded. The TBI is going to be, so Chiron is here. And Chiron is about, it's about the education. The schooling with Sebastian, the school, the education. And Chiron is going to come and oppose Sebastian with the TBI. Watch it. Watch it. You heard it here first, y'all. So the 2642, we're going to see it. It's going to go. Hold on. No. It's not an opposition with the TBI. It's a flame of life. It's the flame of life with the TBI. There's a reigniting of a flame. And I want to see what this looks like. I'm just getting Chiron to that 2642 that's going to oppose Sebastian. Fourth house of home. This is going to be Friday. Let me see exactly when this happens because I can already see that his step-grandfather is showing up. Michael Proudfoot is with this transit. So is Homeland Security. This will be a day to observe. That's all we're going to do is just observe it, see what happens. Okay. Here's the exact moment. So this will be June 27th, 5:56, around 6 o'clock. Let's go back and let's look at Sebastian. Hey, BMW. Hey, honey. Hey, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. So June, let me put Sebastian first. On the left, the right brain, left brain, you know, I can't, sometimes it just works out better for me this way. Sebastian's on the left, and the transitory energy is going to be on the right. And like I said, this 342, there is a transformation with the long travel with Michael Proudfoot. The moon is going to be reflecting children in school. There's a Homeland Security. This 349, that is a Homeland Security. What else do we see here? Damn, I just saw that. I don't remember who that went to. 407. My values. 2933. The physician is being opposed. The physician is being opposed with Sebastian. And what does that mean? What does that mean if the physician is opposing you? Well, if you go to the physician and they can't help you, and you leave without being able to see the physician, you have been opposed by that physician. The physician Apollo, it's just a glyph. It's a behavior. All I'm doing is looking at behavior and trying to assess the behavior. But first, I'm looking at the degrees first. And we know that hold on. There's going to be a reigniting of a flame with the marshals here. That's my investigator. My investigator is going to have a lot of wisdom on this day. 2411. Oh, I see way too much here. Saturn is coming and opposing Summer Wells. And the health with Summer. I can see a wake-up call that is, I see three cases here. I see Summer Wells' case. I see Layla Santinello's case, and I also see Sebastian. So they're all kind of running in together. But that physician is being opposed. That's something we need to definitely take note of. And then there's going to be the shakeup that's coming to California on the same day, on June 27th. Well, it'll be this evening. The evening of the 27th, there's going to be the shakeup. This could be, the 342 is also a transformative, it's transformation also with California, not just with Michael Proudfoot. So Michael Proudfoot and California's ascendant, they connect in a big way. The 342 is also Oklahoma. So Oklahoma, California, there's definitely going to be a shakeup, but I would say it's going to be shaking up the earth. It could be earth shaking with California, meaning an earthquake, but homeland is being called in as well on this day. May not have anything to do with California. Interesting. So what's going to happen is that 1050 with Hygeia is going to come over Sebastian and then hit the state of Tennessee. Then the dark moon is going to, then she's going to. And I really truly believe that all of this is something that we are building up to a protest for Sebastian and to gain answers, or at least put some pressure on and say, hey, we know that we are the public. We are not, it's not that we want answers. We want answers for Seth. Can you please at least communicate with Seth Rogers? I mean, can you not communicate and let him know what is going on with his son's case? Why is that so hard? Yeah, so this is what, yeah, I just, that's what is happening here. Because there's going to come a lot of energy that is going with groups on July 2nd. With the public image. Yep, because Sebastian has the 1228 near his position in that 11th house. And it's at a 1228 in Libra. So there's going to be an opposition here Wednesday, July 2nd. And that's what, for me, that's really what is showing up. July 2nd is a big day right here. Boom, bam. When we wake up, July 2nd, there's an opposition. An opposition. And that's with the dark moon. This is also Ohio, so we will definitely see that there's things going on in Ohio on this day. The weight, oh yeah, the weight is definitely on the TBI. They are weighted down with home. This 1414 also goes to not just the TBI, but it goes to Alabama. Yeah, this is a big day for Sebastian as well. So July 2nd, let me write that down. And I'll have to look at everybody's chart with this at another time. 2946. Yep, we've just shaken up. Things have just shaken up again with California, with groups, the law, possible flight. 210. I know that one. I can't remember. Let me look at Sebastian again. 1228. So we're just looking at the 1228 with him. And the dark moon with the 1050 with the world health and the communications with relationships and partnerships here. That 1050 is in an opposition with Ohio. Can't forget that. Ohio has a 1050 in their chart with Uranus, and it is in Sag. So that's going to be in an opposition with Sebastian. At 1050. Let me go back. I know I saved it, didn't I? Did I not? Jesus. No, I didn't. I didn't save it. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be California right here. The 27th, around 10 o'clock p.m. That is when the physician is opposing Sebastian in the second house of values. And there's a shakeup. Look at that. Okay. All right. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Save, woman, save. I'm saying. I'm saying. Jesus. And I've got all these. I've got all kinds of dates written down too. Okay. So here we go. Here we go. I want to make sure that this is, okay, so this 12 in Gemini. So high G is going to come to that 1050, and then high G is going to come here, and she's going to shake up the health of a relationship with Sebastian. At the same time, there is a shakeup in California with groups. Friday evening at 10, and the physician is going to oppose Sebastian in the values. And that is where Saturn is opposing the health factor of Summer Wells. And there is a lot of energy that is going with California at the 342 with Oklahoma. And look at that, the 606, that is the U.S. Marshals here, and that is in the seventh house of relationships. There is things going down with the Homeland Security and with the FBI. A lot of warring. The sun is shining at home, and there's a lot of warring going on with Donald Trump. Whoa. But this is an investigator. Palace, she is going to shake up. She's shaking up the health. There's an investigation with Sebastian and communications here. Huh. There's a buildup. Okay, now I'm going to play the tape through again one more time. Here we go. Now I want to see this. I want to see the desires with the 840, because we are going to gain some wisdom about Sebastian, even though we may not hear about it. This 311 is going to the president of Russia, Vladimir, and also Biden. Joe Biden and Vladimir will be in transit on June 28th together. We will be hearing about them that day. Still a shakeup going on. Still the physician opposing Sebastian. We still have an opposition with Summer Wells. Let's see. Okay, so the state of Tennessee is going to be in transit. There is going to be a lot of attention on the state of Tennessee and schools, education, Sebastian, because the 350 and we, the people, are going to oppose them on Saturday, June 28th. We, the people, are going to oppose the state of Tennessee on this day. So this could be when maybe one. Let's look. The third house of communications. When we wake up Saturday morning, the third house of communications is on the wisdom with the TBI. They're going to have wisdom. The physician is still opposing Sebastian. And now. Okay, so Saturday, June 28th. This, we have desires. We have these desires at an 840 in Capricorn. Watch this. Watch this. We're just playing the numbers game. Just matching numbers, just playing the number matching game. The 840 that Sebastian has, the 350. This is about things of the past and the past investigation. The 350, the 840. The 350, right here. The outer wheel is always going to be dual. So you'll have a 350 here, you'll have a 350 here, 2786, 2706, 2656, same thing. You're going to have it in the opposite. This is the outer wheel. So this means that he is highly connected to the state of Tennessee and the things of the past with the investigation. The 840 is wisdom. It's wisdom about things of the past. This could be about trash. This could be about hidden sex, other people's money, things from the past. And those things from the past with Sebastian does go to California. We can't deny that. But the 840, that's where the desires are, to know the wisdom of what happened to Sebastian in the past. But there is a physician that is opposing him. And so if he needed medicine, if he needed medical attention, and he wasn't able to go to the doctor, this is the day that that would be possible, is that he wouldn't be able to go, or he is having another physician attend to him. He's not able to go to the doctor. The physician also brings enlightenment to you, right? So the physician comes in, draws your blood, they go out, and then they come back in. They go, oh, okay, your your blood levels look this, your CBC is this, and we need to get it here. So they bring you enlightenment too, right? Well, this enlightenment that is coming with Sebastian is being opposed. So the 2642 is here, and it's opposing the physician, and he is wounded. He's wounded. There is going to be a lot of energy. This 1138. Ceres is right here. Ceres is about religion. She is about pastor, your preacher. She's also about directed energy and crops and agriculture. I know it sounds like it's all over the board, but it is. There's different ways that she can express herself, just like all these other glyphs. They can express their behavior in other ways as well. And the moon, of course, is in Leo. So we are reflecting on education. We are reflecting on children. We are reflecting on the publicity. And there's a flame of life here with the U.S. Marshals in the 5th house of home, 5th house of kids, education, with the Marshals. We know that the Marshals are definitely looking for the man that unalived his 3 children. So we could be seeing those transits as well. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Sebastian. So I'm going to keep it on Sebastian. So I want to show you this opposition with the magnetism with Sebastian and the 11th house of groups with the law, with the justice. There is going to be an opposition with this justice, with the law attaching to him and bringing him home. It's going to be opposed. So the 1228, that's what we're going to look at with Ceres, because it's going to be a lot of energy with it. She is no joke. So it's going to be a 1228 right there. Wednesday morning on the July 2nd. This is what I was talking about. Finally got back to it. And I'm writing these down, of course, but I'm also going to be looking at them later. So we have an opposition, and it begins Wednesday morning, July 2nd. The 1228, all the energy is here, and we're opposing the law enforcement here and their other agencies, the way that they bring in money. TBI is receiving information, and the information that they are receiving is weighing them down. Trump, Mexico, Israel, that's definitely going to be in transit on July 2nd as well. The moon is going to reflect the past with the government and the law enforcement with Sebastian. And the house of groups, that's us. I'm pretty sure. Let me pull up the TBI. Let me pull up the TBI here. Because I can see it's not just the state of Tennessee. Where's it at? So we have this information. So we'll have information that's coming in that they are receiving, and all this information that they are receiving weighs them down. And then Mars is going to come and emphasize the 840 with the health, and where he went is the vehicle. It's the vehicle. There's the 1050. So the information is going to come in. There's a lot of darkness that's coming in on the July 2nd surrounding, and we will be talking about the things with Sebastian and the TBI. And that's what we're building up. This is a constant. June, the end of June, July, this is constant. This is going to be constant. Let's look at Venus when Venus comes to their values here at a 2238. Their values with past evidence, if there is any, with the 2238, if there is any that they have. 2238. Let's look at this. Let's look at them. There it is. Here's their past values right here. Friday the 27th. Yeah. Let's look at them, their past values. And I'm sure they'll lock somebody up. And it won't pertain to Sebastian. But I want to see it when this evidence is coming in for them. Friday evening, June 27th. That's summer. That's summer. Oh, now I'm back. I'm back to the same time. There's the 559. That's their midheaven. And it's about a vehicle. It's about things that they learn. So, yeah. Good things. Good things could come about. It could. It really could. And this is before the physician is opposed. Their values are being called upon with Venus and the Venus return for the TBI. And this, for me, this does look like summer. California, Oklahoma. There's a divine justice here. The flame of life, they will be wounded. So we'll have to see what's coming about. You know, June 27th, that's a ways away. What they're working on, who they're busting, what's going on with them. But I've given y'all some dates. If you haven't written them down, you can go back and you can look at this live and you can write them down. Oh, there's so much I can see with Summer. Summer, let's look at her for just a second. Jeez, what is happening here with you, girl? The TBI, their past values. So this is, you know, maybe it is like the end of the month where they come together and they look at the past cases and they go over them again. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is that at the end of the month, they regroup. That would be nice if they did, right? Jeez. But her health here in the 11th house, that 144 is going to be opposed by Saturn. And that's at home. That's at home. That's showing up in the 4th house of home with mom and dad. And the health factor with relationships and the law enforcement possibly. Let's see. Where does she is, okay, so Jupiter is going to expand the weight of home with Summer Wells. No matter what time she's born, she has Hades. Hades is hell. It's a weight. It's, if you imagine Christ carrying the cross on his back, that's Hades. It's a weight. It weighs you down. Well, this 406, Jupiter, this is about the expansion of communications. Communications, look at that. That's a 2642. There's the reigniting of a flame of communications and the law. So this will be a summer day. This is going to be a time learning about a vehicle. That 559, remember on Summer's map? Remember on Summer's map? It's about Jody Sue. Jody Sue? Okay. Y'all know I'm going to have to do it. I mean, I'm just going to have to do it. I don't know. Let me just make this disclaimer. I don't know that this is her birthday, nothing about it. This is just my opinion. It's all alleged. I have no idea. But, yeah. So the TBI, let me see what's going on with her. Because the lowest point for the TBI is going to her house. It's going to her house. So she could have that 559, no doubt about it. But I just wanted to see if this is going to come over her any at all. It is. Look, there's a devouring energy with communications at a 1642. That's where the relationship, the past relationship, she's going to get a wake up. She's going to get a conscious raising experience with a relationship here. So just remember this. This is something to do with the past and Jody Sue. The lowest point for the TBI is with the vehicle, saying that there was a vehicle. Is there a vehicle? We don't know. Jody Sue said that there was. Right? But isn't that a trip? You see that I saw her because the TBI on Summer's map, the lowest point that they have is a 559. Their midheaven is in Aquarius. Their lowest point is in Leo. It's about children. I've showed you guys that on her map. And look at that. There could be a divine justice that she has with groups in California. I may have to get her. I want her match in California now. But maybe I've got it right because look, the divine justice with groups, 2933, that's where the shakeup is coming. Yes. Their past values. We are going back to what Jody Sue said. I heard a scream. The car. No. It wasn't a car. It was a red truck, wasn't it? And there's an opposition with Summer during this period of time with the law enforcement, with the authority, work, her father. Wow. What else can we see here? This is like getting the tea before the tea comes. I love it. I just wish I knew. She is going, okay, so the dark moon is going to come and oppose her. There's a breakup. There's a breakup with her values. So is she going to say something? Is she going to put out a video? There's a burden. It's coming to oppose her with the dark moon, with the disordered aggression, with the death, rebirth, regeneration, the investigation. Is she going to come out and say something? Is that what the drive will be with the TBI and her? It's possible. But Jupiter is going to expand the weight of home. And Jupiter is about the law. It's about the relationships. It's about the justice, the long travels. I can, again, I mean, I'm seeing California, I'm seeing Oklahoma, I'm seeing but does this have anything to do, the Homeland Security, does this have anything to do with summer? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I just don't know. I do know, let's see. Let me go back to the TBI with this because we know that they have the Mars. She shines at a 15 in Pisces. I don't know. I'm looking at there's a 342, 312, 349. And then it comes to Tennessee. See, so whatever is taking place on Friday, Tennessee is going to blow up on Saturday. We the people. This girl. This girl. What about the state of Tennessee? Let's look at Tennessee. And this day, June 27th. Okay, so Mars is going to go over the state of Tennessee's communications. This is the media. 2. Communications. Yeah, I'm going to look at the TBI too, Angel. This 2411 is a federal. This is federal. It's a federal number. Layla Centinello's cousin has this Jupiter. And I'm always talking shit about her, and I see her. I see that case too here with Trisha and Layla Centinello, her cousin. Even if she didn't have anything to do with it, I can't stand her. And I can't stand it when people take up for her because she's a POS. The 559, so that's going to come over. So if there's going to be communications. There's going to be a lot of energy coming with the communications with Tennessee, and then Tennessee is going to give it to the TBI. There's a 126. Look at that. 126 is showing up times 2. There's a fate here with the communications. There's what is she going to say? We're learning. Okay, so I don't see, besides the communications being given to the TBI. Let's look at the TBI one more time. Let's look at the TBI. the 27th. Isn't that a trip? So first Mars is going to expand. Then they will learn. Then Mars will go over the state of Tennessee's Mercury, and then they're going to learn something from Tennessee. And that's how they're going to meet their midheaven with a lot of energy here. $1131. There's going to be a lot of energy opposing the fifth house of kids with them. But yeah, this is a summer day, y'all. So we're going to watch. This is definitely a day to observe what's going on with the TBI, with their past cases. The past. And then, like I said, the wisdom is going to come with Sebastian on the 28th. Could this be something great? It could be. But I do see that Jupiter is expanding communications about the home. It's with what Jody Sue had said. And like I said, it's just, I'm seeing all three cases. I'm seeing Layla Centinello's case in a big way. In a big way. Summers and Sebastian. So I've got to think. I mean, they're regrouping with the past cases here. And this is federal. Like I said, there's communications about groups, and this is a federal number, the 2411 in the state, in the United States chart. When I say a federal, it just means that I'm looking at something with the United States, because this 2411 is with the media. It's about things of the past. Actually, it's about things that are hidden at home with the values of the United States. And the Mercury is the media, and it's about the groups, the protesting, the communications with the media, online networking, things of that nature. I think so. I think that that's what it is. It's a regrouping, because I'm seeing too much, too many cases. But I definitely see Miss Jody Brown coming into the transits here. One thing that I do want to, she said a red truck, she heard her scream, right? Let's look at Dawn. Don't know what time he's born. Don't know if this is even his birthday. I have no idea. Don't know his birth time, but I would say that 126, well, that could be Dawn. That could be there. That could be a justice with that 126. Let me see. 132. Let me look at this for a second. Excuse me. He's definitely connected to Texas and Ohio, no matter what time he's born. He's definitely connected to Texas and Ohio. I don't see. Now, the Venus that is coming at the 1908, that's going to expand. That just mean he could win the lottery that day for all I know. I don't see him like I do Jody Sue though. This is the lowest point for the TBI goes over her house. The weight is at a 1408. I mean, he could have that 1408. That would put this at maybe a 117, the 1408, where he is pained. And again, this could be, ooh, let's see. $209. Let me look at Candace. Because I'm having to look at like I'm having to look at the non-movers and I'm limited here. Now, Don Wells, this 321, it goes to David Dotson. It goes to Brandon Lawson. Brandon Lawson, no matter what time Don is born, no matter what time Brandon is born, they have a connection. And in time, there is communications about that connection. And we may have already heard it, the connection that Don would have with the Lawsons. We may have already heard about that, but that is definitely something that I keep in mind. When I see that 321, I'm like, ooh, they're coming into transit together. And they do. They do. Nevertheless, they'll show up. People be talking about them both. But I do see Jody Sue and California that is coming into transit on the 27th with Summer and the TBI. And there's a federal, like I said, there's this federal communications here. The group. Let me look at Candace. Then Mars is going to come to that 713. That 713 was in transit when Summer went missing. So let's look at the Mars at the 713. Let's look at that. Because there is going to be a lot of warring with his health, with his magnetism. What's his magnetism? It's not just his health, but it's also the way that people look at him and talk about him. So the 711, that's the state of Tennessee, right there, the 711. We can see that there's a reigniting of a flame with the TBI. Okay, that's Ohio. We're coming into Ohio. Huh. 713. Let's get it there. And this will be June 29th at 8 o'clock p.m. right there. And look, the moon. Let's go ahead and get the moon conjunct. I'm going to save this. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Now, let's go ahead and get the moon. Let's reflect on Dawn and the past right there. And look at that. There's the United States, the 556. That's the United States. Where they're Jupiter. There's an expansion here with health. Interesting. And then there's going to be a flame of life with the TBI. There's a divine justice that is in Ohio. The communications with her would be the 406, 1411. Oh, this is not going to be a good day for little Faith, Sebastian's stepsister. There's actually a weight of home with the communications and the information on Sunday with her. I don't know why. I'd have to pull her chart, and I'm not going to do that while I'm live. But anyway, I have talked for almost 3 hours, so I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let y'all do what you do. Enjoy this Monday. And I'm going to do my thing before I have a reading this afternoon. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I really do. I think that it's, sometimes it's just important for me to come on here and just talk out, talk things out to see where Sebastian can be. We just never know. We just never know. Never know. I think sometimes me talking it out with you guys just I may not see something, may not be really confident on it. And I got you on here and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I saw something I didn't see before. And I'm always open to changing my mind, always open to changing my mind. I've worked on Sebastian's map since day one. Would it have been wonderful to have confidence and, give Seth a great Father's Day present? I couldn't do it. And I'm just going to keep striving to do that because I will tell Seth Happy Father's Day when his child is home. That's when I will tell him Happy Father's Day. Because for me telling him Happy Father's Day on Father's Day, I feel like I'm insulting him. That's me. That's me. If you told him Happy Father's Day, please don't take offense to that. It's just for me, I don't want to tell him Happy Father's Day until his son is brought home. And it takes all of us, no matter where you live. I don't care what country you're in, what state you're in. Share Sebastian's face. He could be right down the street from you and you didn't even know it. But had you shared his photo and talked about him, you may be the one to bring him home. You just never know. No matter where you're at, talk about Sebastian, show his face, put flyers up at your dollar store, talk to people about him. You would want people to do that for you if your child was missing. Us talking online is one thing, but really getting out there in the community, even if you can't leave your home, post it on your community page, your county page, whatever, news you're getting for your county or your, talk to people. It takes us all. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you guys. I'll definitely be catching up with you very soon. And those dates, I wrote them down. I'm going to keep looking at them and I'm going to keep talking about them. And then in hindsight, we'll go back and we'll look at them together. So love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Peace out.